Chris Noel, welcome to the latest edition of Fearless and Devotion. I need to mention the Fat Ball, but not the rest, because the rest don't sponsor us, but go to the Fat Ball. I also like the Mice Gwyn as well, because they take our live nights. So they are the human face of Rich Watkins' business empire, I would say. So definitely visit there. Also, I'm going to pop this up. You know what it is. It's your favorite part of the week.
Is there any offers on?
It's me putting a QR code on. Yay!
Are there any offers? Yay. How long is the offer going on till Christmas?
No, the offer's finished, but it's still good value. It's still good value. It's like you going to DFS and buying a sofa out of the sale, but it's still worth it.
Interest-free credit.
I'm legally obliged to. I'm not legally obliged. I just want to. But if you'd like a cracking newsletter each week delivered piping hot to your inbox with 3.5 of the finest 1,000 words, then that's your way into it. Right. So, firstly, Fearless and Devotion. Is it a sellout, Tim? Is this a fool's errand? Oh, what is it?
The next one is now sold out, which
August the 7th, was it?
August the 7th. Hot on the heels of the recent one that we just did. August 7th sold out. However,
yeah, we haven't discussed this, Tim.
Almost in a back-to-back, but not quite. Short by one back. Would the suggestion has been made that we could do 2 days in a row. So if you think that suggestion is a good idea, please let us know.
Where would it be? Would it be the Wednesday or the Friday?
It would be the Wednesday. Because we don't know if the game's going to be on a Friday yet. There's every chance the game will be on a Friday. Anyway, we're losing the connection of what this pod is all about today. So, Andy, give us a recap of what we're going to be chatting about, and then let's dive into stuff.
Let's do Lincoln first, just because it was the last game of the season and there was a party atmosphere. Me and Tim know that because we were part of the party. We'll do the season awards. We'll sort of have a look towards next season as well, and maybe ask ourselves, what the hell are we going to do for the next 8 weeks?
Speaking of parties, Sunday has been having a 43rd birthday party today, sharing it with the players, sharing it with the fans, and specifically sharing it with whiskey. Mr. Andrew Pollard, who is absolutely George bested as we speak. So if you're watching this on YouTube, he will be testament to that. He will agree with it. Happy birthday, sir. How are you feeling and where are you at on the current scale of pissed up fuckery?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Tim. It's been a long day, a strong day. It's been a long week. It's been a long weekend. It's been a long 4 years to be fair.
Well, what an Oscar, lad.
I know. Well, I was going for that. I was going for Tim's FSA award speech. I was trying to mirror that, which was fantastic, by the way, Tim. It wasn't a shade.
Thank you.
I blame my situation on Sky at the turf, who gave me a couple of cheeky free whiskeys. So yeah, no, it's been a
that's Sky behind the bar rather than Sky Sports.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Sky with an E.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Top lad.
He is a cracking fellow, Sky.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's get into it. Lincoln. What a cracking away day that was. Now, Tim, you spent the weekend there. I got there early and I went straight to see the Magna Carta.
You did.
I did, which was high on my to-do list. I said to myself, if it was more than 20 quid to get into Lincoln Castle, I wouldn't go. £17.50. I'm in.
And you get to go as many times as you like now because that is now an annual pass.
It's not an annual pass. That was just for the day. I had a red star on my on the back of my hand, which the finest forges in the world couldn't get anywhere near. So if anyone does want to get into Lincoln Castle, maybe invest in a red star stamp. But yeah, it was a cracking day. Really, really nice town. How did you enjoy it, Tim?
I loved it. It's a city of wondrous splendor. Been there a few times now. This was probably by far my most favorite for obvious reasons, but the weather was lovely. I think 90% of the fans that we spoke to were all very, very gracious and wished us well for next year. And guys, the Stacey West podcast we've had on a few times, they were really, really good value towards the end of the evening, or the start of the evening, I should say. And yeah, everybody was just really, really, really nice, and I just enjoy the place. It's almost like two cities in one. You've got like the newer version where you've got all your high street and all the obvious high street chains and all that sort of stuff. And then you go through the archway into the old part of it, and you just catapult you back to a bygone era. And it's great, go up a steep hill that originally and superbly named Steep Hill. Went up it twice. Fucking hell. Yeah, it's worth it though. It's great. It's a lovely place. I need to see and do. And what a way to end the season, in a really, really
great. It was
nice part of the world. Well worth the journey.
It reminded me of Chester if Chester wasn't full of twats. But that sort of oldie worldy.
It's like a twatless city.
Yeah, a great sort of Tudor rose twatless city. So get yourself to Lincoln.
Why don't you marry Lincoln if you love it so much?
I don't want to marry Lincoln. I drive right past Chester to get there.
And I played Glory Hole Golf, which is adult themed golf course.
Know what that is?
Glory Hole Golf.
Glory Hole Golf. So just an adult themed golf course, 18 holes.
I'm sure. Yeah, for what the rest of you.
But yeah, it was great. But yeah, I was like, we saw that. I was like, you've got to do that. Well, it's one of those corny things that you do somewhere, but all of it was great. But we'll come to the game. Shall we come to the game?
We come to the game. I don't want to know about your glory hole on the Friday night, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, those corny glory
look it up.
Then, yeah.
Look it up. It's great. Glory hole golf.
All right, let's get to the game because there was a lot of fancy dress. What was your favourite costume? So, full disclosure, Tim, you went as Andy Marriott and you got an Andy Marriott mask towards the end. So you had the complete look. I'm not sure about those matching leggings. I don't think he ever wore that. And
well, this is the thing. I didn't go as Andy Marriott. I went as Andy Marriott's shirt. So I went as merely an item of wonderful object art, glorious colour, technicolor, wonderful shirt, which you've all seen by now. If you don't know it, look it up. I had the matching leggings. I also had some sort of trainers which went quite nicely with it as well. And then towards the end of the night, well, after the game, a bunch of lads there who did the same thing at Crew last year with the face masks of Parky and Humphrey and so on, suddenly appeared out of nowhere. And there's Marriott, Hardy, Ward, Connolly, down the wing, nobody to stop him, and Super Stevie Watkin. So I was like, this is amazing. And then one of the lads kindly give me his Andy Marriott mask. So I then wandered, try looking for the very small pinholes in this mask. We'll get to your mask in a bit, Andy, because they definitely wear small pinholes. And we know why.
You know, when you put that mask on, did Brian Flynn appear from nowhere and punch you in the face?
Yeah, you smacked me in the head with an empty red wine bottle. But in answer to your question, what was my favourite one? There was so many good ones, and everybody got involved in it. I reckon 80% of those that were there were really into it. And there's one mother who wandered in with a little girl, and a little girl just got this very, very straightforward Tic Tac dispenser. I was like, how did you make that? We only did it this morning. She said, we just made it from this box. So where'd you get the box from? She went, just buy a bin. So like, you just got your daughter a fancy dress outfit from nowhere. Just buy a box, buy a bin, and she came as a Tic Tac dispenser. It was great. But my favorite one,
Kim Jong was there.
Kim Jong Lee In was the one that I couldn't stop laughing at. It was, I mean, the woker people might not like it, and it was just tremendous. I think I don't know the guy's name who was Kim, but he was in character for the entire thing. And he had his entourage of mates masquerading as security, all looking like the security teams. Had earpieces in, they had just the full works, and they were into it. Like they were his security detail. He was slap bang in the middle. So when they walked in together, there was like 2 or 3 at the front. There was 2 or 3 at the back. Then there was a tail guy. Yeah. with his thingy on his earpiece, going, right, we're in, lads, we're in. And then I went over and I said, can I have a quick picture with Kim? And one of his mates went, I've got to pat you down first. So I had to be patted down.
Wow.
He checked my beer can
and patted down. You
honestly, it was. But the beauty of it was, when he came through, the guy I was speaking to genuinely said, "So why is security with him?" So. One guy legit. There's probably a few that legitimately believed it, but that was my favorite one.
Banditos. There was horses.
Banditos. Dinosaur. There's an Easter, there's a rabbit in it.
Andy Cannon,
Rabbit-
a lion.
Oh, did you see Father Ted? Father
Yes,
Ted.
Ted was
Yes.
tremendous.
A shout out to Father Ted. That was my pal John Robson, Wrexham osteopath, who
Yeah.
did phenomenal. Who shaved the beard off to have that as well, and then put a wig on, and he rocked it amazingly.
And he had the sign, if you're familiar with
Yes.
Father Ted, that says
Yeah.
"Down with this sort of thing."
Mhm.
He had that,
The
and below
slots.
it was the
Careful
Shrewsbury
now.
Town badge, which was just genius. The amount of invention that went into people's costumes was fabulous. And you know what? You don't get many moments like this where you got a sort of congregation of football fans who are all absolutely joyous.
Yeah.
You know, and you could see that in the sort of the show of what was on display. It was just absolutely unbelievable. It was so good. There's so many costumes, too many to mention. I've lost count. It's brilliant.
I mean, what I'd like to mention quickly was another pal of mine, Gav, and his Mrs. Emma Truss, and they did the basically they were travel agents with the giant ticket to the championship. So yeah,
that's a good idea. I didn't see that.
Robin
Phenomenal.
Ryanair.
Yeah.
Got a few pictures.
idea.
It was quality, and it just says on the ticket, one way to the championship. That was the destination. I love that. Great stuff.
Apparently there was a game on. I mean, I didn't get to see much of the game because I was looking for a sheep's nostril for the first.
We've all been there, mate. We've all been there.
Was this part of Glory Hole Golf by any chance?
No, but yeah. So I got sheep.
It might be Morocco.
Me and sheep. Me and sheep. Chris. And I cut out the eye hole.
You and sheep.
Yeah, without thinking that they were 12 inches apart, and there was no way that my eyes were ever going to see from there. And then I put it on and went, oh my god, here I'm having to look through the nostril, aren't I? So I couldn't see a bloody thing. I put it on walking down Sinsel Bank Road, and I came to a road and went, I can't cross this road. I haven't got a fucking clue. The Green Cross Code man would be having my guts for garters.
David Prowse.
Yeah,
Darth Vader. Yes.
If you gave it to someone from Shrewsbury, it would have been all right.
Yeah, well, no, it wouldn't have been all right. It would have been a bloody mess. But there was a game. Liam, did you see said game? Did we play all right? I think we did, didn't we?
I was in a music festival in Liverpool watching goals on Twitter. I watched some of the game in a pizza place on my mate's phone through legitimate streaming sources, obviously. And it looked good. First half, I got the impression was pretty dull, but we don't do first half. Other than last week, we don't do first halves.
No. Andrew, birthday boy, did you see the game?
I did indeed.
Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought first half was very pedestrian, as you might have thought, and then second half, I thought just everything cranked up a bit. George Dobson, I love that man, but it is for that first half, you could tell he'd been on the piss for a week. Every single first touch was all over the place, but second half, I thought he was cracking. As a performance, it was the classic cliche.
How shit must Lincoln be if we spent half the week on the piss?
Exactly.
And still went and beat them comprehensively.
I don't mean that as like a negative on double. I make that as a.
Did he have his top
on double? He did. He was in his kit, obviously, as he's been for most of the week. And again, I love that. I love that. The fact that he basically he spent like at least 2 days I know of on the piss, on the beers, loving life, enjoying Wrexham Town. Go on the double. There was not to go sidetrack, but there was a Charlton fan I was speaking to on the Saturday, and he was last Saturday and was just talking about praise about George Dobson and about how great he was. And I mean, what a boy we've got, what a play we've got, what somebody encapsulates. That's not even the word. Basically, he just takes things in and
encapsulates.
Encapsulates. Yes, that will be this, Timothy.
That is the Badger.
This is the badger. We've had back to back, ole, and it's my birthday, so I am fully entitled to be a little bit.
Right, let's move along from Andy Pollard because he's going to do something that will disgrace us all. I'm pretty sure about it. Look,
it's coming out.
Oh, is it? No.
Can we go begin?
I thought we were very functional, and I tell you what, if we did need to go away to Lincoln and get something on the last day of the season, I don't think there would be any better place to go to because they look a little bit shot. Lincoln, they had a lot of possession, but didn't really hurt us at all. There was a few standouts for me. I thought Longman had a good game, and I also is Tim stuck like that, or is that just me? Is he playing glory hole golf again?
You've all stuck. You've all got stuck as well. I don't know what's going on.
No, we're moving. Oh, there he
I'm
is.
not
There he is.
Really?
Yeah, we're fine. We're
Right,
flowing
yeah,
You all
through
just
the week.
froze.
You're back to back to back. I
Weird.
thought Longman had a good game, but I was just quietly impressed with how good Arthur's handling was. The guy was not fussed at all, and you just look because you're already looking, saying, right, who can really step up now? Because we're going to need someone to the people to up their games again for the championship. And you just think Arthur's in a position now, 20, 23, 24, got games under his belt, got all the raw ingredients to be a fantastic keeper. And for me, he's putting it together confidence-wise. I thought he was great yesterday, as was a lot of the others. Max as always, but I think we're going to get on to Max now. What I do want to talk about, Tim, is 17 years, almost to the day, since the last time that we enjoyed the last game of the season at Lincoln away. It was fancy dress back then. It was a very different atmosphere because we'd just been relegated. What lovely synergy, what a lovely sort of circle to come back now. Because if you think about it, we were going lower than any of us had ever seen, and now we're going higher than many of us will ever have experienced before. So, how can you sort of level up those sort of 2 days?
I mean, they're worlds apart for the reasons you just described. But I remember at the start of the season when the fixture released, and I saw it. I wish I'd put a bet on now, but I was like, wouldn't it be wonderful to go back to Lincoln, having achieved something that almost cancels out that kind of. Wasn't a dark day, but it was definitely a sad day. Definitely a sad day back then to kind of drop out the Football League after 87 unbroken years of EFL membership. So that was particularly horrible. So to do it the way we did it, nobody cared really about the result. But I'll tell you one person who did was Phil Parkinson.
Yeah,
he made sure those players were at it from the get-go. It's like, you are going to be going to Vegas. You well earned that trip, but we just got one more to do. And wouldn't it be nice to get into the 90-point situation? It was kind of win-win for us because I thought if we lost and Stockport won, they would have been, we were just two points shy of second. That would have made me laugh a bit more, to be honest. But the fact that he basically said, look, we just want to get this done out of the way, but just show how good you are. Show everybody why, as you have done the last 2 games, you've really stepped up to the match. Show them one more time how good we are. Silence this crowd, quite a partisan crowd at times, specifically towards one James McLean, and a guy in a pink Stone Island jumper who got carted out quite quite forthrightly at one point in the game, which was great. But for me, it meant a lot because it felt, without being too melodramatic, it felt like I've got some closure from it. So long ago, I know that, and so much has changed since then. But I think back to the people that were there that day and who enjoyed it through kind of, sort of teary eyes, to be honest. It's like, well, it's this gallows humor. We're here, we're down, let's just get on with it. Whereas this time it's like, we're here, we're up, let's absolutely milk every minute. And we did when we were counting it down, 10 more minutes to the championship, 5 more minutes to the championship.
Yeah.
Everything about it was perfect. The goals were wonderful. Lee's goal that puts him outright as a top scorer for the season. It was a great move. The second goal is just oozes quality. Oozes quality and confidence.
Player. He's a decent player.
It's just good movement and good vision. And the minute you zip it around that quickly, these last 3 games would show anybody why we shouldn't really go into next season with too much to worry about, genuinely.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I also think Lincoln was the perfect place to experience that. I just think all round, as I said at the start, Lincoln was just a great place to go and have a party. And thank you very much, Lincoln.
Good fans,
and the fans,
great fans.
for being so hospitable. Right, today was another celebration. God, we're fed up of celebrations. I can't take another celebration.
I am literally tired. I am tired after all the celebrating.
So we had the Player of the Season awards. We had a little bit of music as well at the Kairos. Liam, you were there. Apparently you jumped the queue, or been accused of jumping the queue on the way in. What was it like? Was it organised okay? I've seen a few grumbles on Twitter. Did you get any food?
I was planning on getting food. When I saw the queues, I thought, fuck that for a game of soldiers. Because it was ridiculous. I did see in a distance Andrew Pollard queuing for food and drinks, and I thought he's going to be here till next week. We won't be here for the podcast tonight because the queue was that long. There was bits things that were a bit annoying. The Mould Road stand lived up to its Cold Road stand nickname.
It was cold.
It was 10 degrees. We walked out of the stand. No word of a lie. The temperature lifted by 10 degrees when we left.
It's got a microclimate.
It's true. It's true.
It's mad. But I don't know. I think I enjoyed it overall. The music was decent. Shout out to
Royston Club.
Danny. I'm going to start with Danny Gruff, who played at mine and Becky's wedding. Known him for years and years. That was the first time he's ever played a stadium, and he had people eating out of his hand. To be fair, he's playing Wrexham tunes and stuff like that. Royston Club, that festival I was at in Liverpool. They were playing there, and then I found out they were playing this, and they're a band you would want to see twice in 24 hours because they were superb.
Why is it called the Royston Club?
Because of the famous Royston Club in Acrovire, or as I used to call it as a child, Acre Fair. Yeah, but they were really good. I think they're going places. Royston Club. The awards thing was nice. I think it did drag on a bit towards the end. I don't know if that was just because I was freezing cold and I thought I got pneumonia. But no, there was some nice little moments of recognition in there. Things that were deserved. I really liked the video they did for Max Cleworth when he was playing. Yeah, I won't go too many spoilers then, but no, overall, there was more that was good about it than bad, I'd say.
Good. I'm glad it's a nice sort of way to tie up the season. No, there was no Paul Mullin yesterday at Lincoln. I didn't see him on the pitch, which is a shame because everyone was celebrating. He has won goal of the season though, and did come on the stage. Pretty bad comment he said to him, wasn't it? What did he say again?
Well, I mean, he came up and obviously after they got him on the stage, they showed the goal back again, which was the sort of over the shoulder volley in the fog against Blackpool. Feels like such a long time ago, that one already, especially for him. And he came up and he got probably the biggest reception of the afternoon, to be honest. Everybody was singing his name non-stop for a couple of minutes until, it was had to wait until it simmered down for him able to speak. And Jason Mohammed, who was sort of MCing it. Yeah, Reece Williams, Jason Mohammed was MCing the entire thing for the most part. And said, "I bet you've watched that back a few times." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I have, and I've definitely watched it a few more times since January." There was words to that effect. He's like, "I've had a bit."
He said, "I've had a lot of my time on my hands since January.
I've had a fair bit of time on my hands since January to watch it." But then you think, is it a bad comment? You could argue it is, but then
it's a bit of humour in it.
Well, no, but in the same sentence, in the same breath, he then went on to say, if it wasn't for the staff, if it wasn't for the gaffer, so he's not bad mouthing Parky as such. I think it's a little bit of frustration. You can understand that, and it's probably just his sense of humour as well. In all honesty,
yeah. I mean, my thing with Mullin, it was there was a big school of thought yesterday that they wanted Palmer and Mullin up front to start against Lincoln. I don't think Parky was ever going to do that. That he wouldn't.
No.
He will probably see that as disrespect to bring in your third choice striking partnership now for the last game of the season. I just hope Mullin A, gets a pre-season, and B, gets a clean slate. I still think there's something there for us even in the Championship. When he played up the likes against Coventry, he played extremely well. Same against Sheffield United on 2 occasions. I think there's enough there for him to step up. He'd only be about 31. I think if he gets a full pre-season, but more importantly, whatever has gone on this season just gets put to one side and he gets a good go at trying to get back into the side. I personally would put him above Jack Marriott in the pecking order just on what I've seen over the last couple of years, but I know it's not as simple as that. Pollard, do you think he's got a future?
For Moles, I think there is. Also, as well, I want to give a shout out to Ribbon Dream, who played as well earlier today. Who were fantastic, phenomenal. But yeah, in terms of Moles, it was that it's that tricky one where you thought maybe today was almost like a farewell speech, but I do think there's a future there. I do think there's a player there. Obviously, clearly there is in terms of a championship player. Then yeah, I think there is more in the tank. As for the past weekend, it's that Parky thing of you knew that he was going to go over his strongest team regardless of what points were on the line. As in, we had nothing to play for, but you knew he'd done it before with Luke Young the season before. But it just would have been nice to see, to see Moles get a run out, to see Ollie Palmer get a run out, to see whoever, maybe George Evans get a run out. Those sort of players who've not been in around the squad when there's nothing to play for. As for Moles, though, specifically for next season, I think he's there as a squad player, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm Paul Mullin and how he's desperate to play football, and maybe he just thinks that
that might be his decision. Then
exactly.
I said it before. I said Bradford. They got promoted yesterday, last minute winner. The sort of perfect scenario for him, I'd imagine. Big crowd, somewhere to be idolised. But again, I'm not trying to push him out the door. Hopefully, he's still idolised here on the pitch next season. But yeah, it was. I just thought just to give my 10 pence on today, because obviously the three of us were there. I thought it was very well organised, considering it was quite last minute. Park even give a shout out to the company that helped arrange it.
Skellen Events, shout out to Kate Skellen.
And he said he was broached about the subject a few weeks ago, and he said, "Do not talk to me about this. Well, the season is still on. I'm not interested." And he was also asked, at what point of the season did you think it was done? And he said the final whistle against Charlton. Levels of that man. Such a pro, and he was loving it when he's loving it on the pitch yesterday. And I think today was great. Apart from the queues and outside the ground, bizarrely they hadn't opened up at 1, which you think for a 1:30 start they would have done. So the queues are snaking right down. The queues inside were difficult because obviously everybody wanted to eat and drink because you were allowed to take it to your seats. But everything was great. Sean Harvey spoke well. Humphrey Carr spoke well. Andy Lowe from the youth set spoke well. Everybody spoke well. Michael Williamson gave a great shout out to Jacko when discussing about getting Wales internationals back and having the cop up. All of it was nice. It was really nice, and it's something a little bit different to your open top bus, which you're obviously only going to get with a title win. And it almost reminded me, I'm sure we can all agree we've all been there, kind of reminded me of the open days of yesteryear on a much more grander level, when you get to go in and mix with the players and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, a great afternoon.
I think on that note as well, the one that obviously it was great to celebrate promotion, celebrate all the players, the achievements we've done, the back to back, ole, all that stuff. But for me, the highlight of the day was seeing Geraint of Parry get in there.
That was my last thing I was going to come to.
Sorry, Andy. Yeah, but Geraint of Parry.
Should we go into it now? You brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please
so
do.
we'll go through each award, but the one that I was leaving to the last because I thought it was the most poignant was the Lifetime Achievement Award for Geraint of Parry, who when I was first a fan, he was incredibly helpful as program editor, and then when he moved, I think he left Airbus to go to Wrexham because it was something that he wanted to follow, that it was in his heart. And for 25 years, Geraint has been Mr. Wrexham FC, an absolute legend. He's sometimes stressed, but he's always got enough time for you. He will always do the right thing, always go out of his way to make you feel happy and to sort out any problems you might have. I think really and truly, it's lovely to recognise him and show how important he's been to this, because he's the constant all the way through from when we were doing relatively well under Price and Flinney, up through the bad years, the barren years, the fans years where we just couldn't get out of the conference, to what's happening now. Geraint's seen it all, and he's dealt with everyone. And I think I'll leave this here. If Geraint ever goes, we riot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, and how humble he was as well with the speech that he did. I
was crying.
Yeah, it was.
I was.
It was me and my pal next to me, Jacko. Shout out to Jacko, who believes Liam is the hero of the establishment there over there. Yeah, but no, it was great to see him get that recognition. It was great to see just Andy Marriott as well, particularly. Just so
every player does that for him. Every player, like Jay Harris, Scrappy Doo.
Yeah,
like all he wants to, when we had him on the podcast, all he wanted to do was big up Geraint. He said that Geraint helped him more than anyone. Geraint has touched so many people, the players, everything. The fans. He's just been Mr. Wrexham. He's just been our Mr. Reliable, our midfield Paul Rutherford. Not flashy, but just gets the job done, and is a really nice fella to boot. Yesterday after Lincoln, when I saw Geraint walk down the car park, my eyes lit up. I thought I hadn't seen him for ages, so I had to go over and shake his hand straight away. I didn't know about this lifetime award.
Were you wearing the sheep mask?
No, it was in my hand though, so it did look a bit freaky.
What I loved, because obviously we all know Geraint and the work he's done over the years with so many players for so many decades. What I loved that when he got called up today for that award was the current squad all got up straight away. And just the massive round of applause he got from them. So clearly he's still having that influence to this day. I mean, we talk about Mr. Wrexham. I mean, Joey Jones is Mr. Wrexham. But
on the pitch, yes.
Yeah, exactly that. We've had so many heroes on and off the pitch for all these decades, and there's nobody who's done more for this club than Geraint Parry. That is a Mr. Wrexham. That is Mr. Wrexham. I love
what Geraint said on the stage. He said, obviously when we got promoted again, he had loads of well wishes from people, and he said even the administrators had sent him a text.
Yeah.
The administrators when we were involved in all the
pitfalls
of our club.
Begbie Trainer, was it?
Begbie's trainer. Begbie Trainer. But yeah, there's not a bad bone in that man's body. There isn't. He should be the highest paid player at that club for me. I just think that they're out there. You run out of superlatives for him.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to be said than that. He deserves it. He should have had this a long time ago, to be honest. He should have had this a long time ago.
Right. Okay. I mean, anyone else? Liam, got anything to say about Geraint? Any anecdotes or?
No, nothing. So he's not the sort of person you'd have like a crazy anecdote, but just to say that how helpful he always was when me being typically disorganized, I would wait until a Friday or something to request press tickets, and he was never, pissed off about it. He just, reply within minutes saying, "Yep, sorted, no problem," and just he's got an incredible amount of patience as well for people. So just thank you for being a top man.
Yeah. Spot on. Right, let's go for the rest of the awards. We touched on it. Mullin, was that the right goal to win that? The others were Jack Marriott against Wickham, first day of the season, Mo Fowles' effort, and the brilliant Sam Smith kung fu kick at the end. I personally would give it to Mullin. It's the goal I've watched back the most. But guys, any changes to that?
I think if we had more time to marinate, I think the Sam Smith goal just
for the importance.
Importance, yeah.
And the ball,
but because it was so recent, yeah.
I mean, the cynic will say, "Oh, he's got the emotional vote there." Maybe, but if you look at it and bookend it as what it is, which is it's technically brilliant. He knows where the goal is as soon as it's coming to him. The visibility was rubbish for us. It couldn't have been that much better at ground level. So for him to do what he did in those conditions, I mean, yeah, it's a worthy winner. I mean, Marriott's a very, very close second, but it's a worthy winner.
You see it in the tech end.
Yeah, when it left his boot, obviously when it left his boot, it disappeared and then it reappeared in the back of the net. It's the arc of the ball. But and if anything, it serves as a kind of a timely reminder to show what he is still capable of.
No,
I mean, right. To be fair, on the goal of the season, before we move on, I was right behind that Paul Mullin strike, and it was just an absolute screamer. For me, though, I would still go Jack Marriott. I thought that goal opening game of the season against Wickham,
Is it the touch from Palmer as well?
It is. That plays into it. The touch from Palmer, the touch from Marriott, the outside of the boot on the half volley is just, it's filthy. It's filthy. Mullin's is filthy as well. But I mean, if you told me that Paul Mullin goal is it's a goal of the season, I'd say yeah, okay, no worries. But if you told me Jack Marriott's one was, I also say yeah, no worries. But for me personally, I would go Jack Marriott. But they're just we've got, there's a lot of riches there, so yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, right. Let's do 2 in 1. Max not only was the young player of the season, but he was also the players' player of the season. I think that just sort of underlines how important Max is, but also how he's viewed by the rest of the players. They look at him and go, right, we've got a star here. What a consummate professional. We need to recognise that. The only thing I would say is, would Arthur have been eligible for Young Player of the Season because I think he could have. It's tough on Arthur, but maybe he didn't play the full season, and so that's why Max is deserving winner of that.
Arthur wasn't on the official voting because they had like the little drop down menu did, so he wasn't on there. It was if it wasn't Max, it'd probably be Harry Ashfield in terms of the choices. But yeah, so
Max was getting plaudits when the players were going into the stadium today. I don't often go and do that, but I brought Becky with me. I thought I'll go and see the players as they come in, and one young woman was offering to have his children, so he's clearly very well thought of.
What was that, Becky?
Not while Ian was there.
Which is Mrs. Randall, for those who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, we've always seen how humble he is. He never changes in that regard. Super, super humble. And everybody has great stuff to say about him, Parky. James McLean, and obviously there's like a testimonial reel from all the players saying that, just all saying that the common theme was how mature he is, how he just wants to better himself all the time, how he can work with Kev and the rest of the other lads in the gym to sort of beef up and be stronger.
You know what? He took his shirt off yesterday, and I thought that lad's a beast.
The best thing was, I think James McLean said, you know, he's you can tell that maybe I've rubbed off on him a little bit because he's getting involved in scrapes all over the pitch now. And he's bailed me out with a few situations. And Mako basically said that he's got absolutely no doubt that Max will play in the Premier League, and he said hopefully that'll be with us. I mean, what just music to our ears, isn't it?
Absolutely, you'll be hating the King next. I think the one thing, we know we've had him on the pod a few times, Max, and I think it's good. I think well done to his family for keeping him grounded. And so I think, didn't he do an interview from his bedroom in his family home once, Tim? I think.
Well, he kind of came on, and it was dead funny because I think his sister had just come home, and he went, "Oh, just give me a minute," and he opened the door, and goes, I'm just doing a pod recording. I'll be down in a minute. So just like, super, super grounded. And yeah, he's just an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Yeah. I mean, what is he worth? I don't want to put a price on him. I don't think
it goes up. It goes up by millions every time we ask this question. He's going to be the first 200 million defender by the time we finish next season. Right. Okay. This is the one I had the biggest question mark about. Player of the season went to Ollie Rathbone. I thought he had a great game against Charlton. I thought and Blackpool. He probably tailed off a little bit before then, but came back strong. Surely he's our most complete midfielder, and I do think he's one of the players who can definitely shine in the Championship. But Max would have run him close if Okonkwo wasn't eligible for the young. He would have been certainly for the main. Andy? Do you think it was right to give it to Ollie?
I went for Ollie Rathbone, but it was very close for me when I was casting my vote of basically Max Cleworth, because Max has just been so good. I think it was that one with Ollie where it's very much the typical Phil Parkinson formula where he brings in the player. Obviously, there's anomalies like George Dobson came in and was straight in the team, but normally with Parky, he brings in the player and he beds him in very slowly over a couple of weeks, maybe sometimes a couple of months, and that was the case with Ollie. But I mean, once he got into that team, was just like I agree totally with what you said there, Gilbo. It's just the most complete midfielder we've got, and he does everything so well. And he's that one of those players where even if things aren't going right and he's not playing that well, he's
like Blackpool. I didn't think he had a great first half against Blackpool. He had a brilliant second half.
Yeah, he's still got the graft and the shift. He puts a shift in every single game. And as a fan, it's that old cliche, but all you want to see is, if you're not playing well, at least try. And with Ollie Rathbone, he works his box off for every single game, for every single ball, for every single pass. And not just that, but the technical ability he's got. So yeah, for me, it was player of the season was Ollie Rathbone. I've got no qualms about that. And I mean, he's one of those players when you look at, we're going up to the Championship now, which sounds daft to say, but it is happening. I believe it's happening now. Yeah, but he's one of those players where you look at him thinking he's one of those players that will be one of our key players next season in a league above.
He developed a habit for scoring crucial goals.
Yeah.
Crucial times of games. Whether that's a late winner whether it's the opener against Charlton, whether it's just the one that settles everything down, like one at Blackpool, just had a knack of doing that. And I think people like him as well because of his all-action, combative style, the way he carries himself, doesn't get involved in any argy-bargy, just gets on with his job and gets about it brilliantly. He's very shy with his speech, very low-key, completely at odds with his like day in the life of stuff that he did with the media team, which is really, really good. Check it out if you haven't. But yeah, just lets his football do the talking, doesn't he? And that's all that really matters. And I think, it's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. So it's well deserved to him as well.
Yeah, Liam, any complaints?
Not whatsoever. No, not whatsoever. They showed like a reel of his goals on the big screen, and you forget about how important some of those want. So even that one against Birmingham, I'd completely forgotten about somehow. Absolutely superb. So no, big up Ollie Rathbone for me.
Yeah,
it says it all. The fact that when they're on the stage ready to announce it, and before they can even get the words out, the whole of the crowd that were there today was the Ollie Rathbone. Yeah, daft.
It's amazing.
Daft,
it was amazing. Well, the other winners, Andy, obviously Elliot Lee, top goal scorer of the year, which obviously got himself out right with that bullet header.
Hell a year in that department, was it? I don't think anyone hit double figures, did they?
No, it was nine for Elliot.
9, wasn't it? Yeah. So just ahead of Max and Fletch, I think.
Which again is crazy to think we've got promoted to the championship with our top goal scorer being 9 goals. It's
shows it's a team effort, mate.
Yeah. It's
all
right.
shared round. Shows that there's threats everywhere.
Smells like team spirit.
Yeah. Who won the Apprentice of the Year?
Was it Ryan Moore? I think.
Yes.
Ryan Moore. I'll be honest, don't know much, don't know a great deal, but he looks the part. Spoke really well, actually.
Yeah.
Spoke really well. Again, one of those thinking he speaks a lot older than maybe what he is, similar to kind of Max in that vein. And yeah, maybe another one who can force their way in. We know that path is a lot more difficult to the level we're going to, but you got to trust in that system there. And if they say, right, go out on loan, let's get you developed and see what the future holds.
Right. Okay. I've got a return of an old friend here. Something that we haven't had for a while. I know Sean Harvey is a particular fan of this segment, so here we go.
To move it. I like to move it. I like to move it.
You like to.
There's the beat.
This is why we won awards.
And
why we won awards.
Does Sean
holding Apple Music to a microphone? It's the high tech future of this podcast. Anyway, Liam Randall would like to bring us a Randall Roundup transfer edition. I'm going to throw a few names at you, Liam. Jamie Vardy, Johnny Evans, Kiefer Moore. What you heard? What your snout's been saying?
Well, when you mention my snouts, I can't name names, but so Jamie Vardy.
Why are you doing it like a 70s police?
Because I thought he'd go match from Ronnie Savage. Well, about snouts, brother. Oh yeah.
Papa Lazarou.
I think.
He's drinking.
Let's just say that I think Sean Harvey likes this feature because I present it. So
that's exactly what it. Why do you hate him? Anyway, go
on. So Jamie Vardy, consensus seems to be would prefer to stay in the Premier League. Still thinks he has something to offer at that level. Couldn't really argue, to be honest, with that if that is the case. Johnny Evans, we posed this one to Mickey on our mini pod that we did, me and Andy, on Friday. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. He thinks he'd be a great addition. You know, he went back to United just for pre-season in 2023. Ended up staying for 2 seasons, but his contract's up in the summer. He does strike me as, sort of the profile that Parky looks for, even if it was only a 1-season solution, because he is 38, isn't he now?
He's 37, but
37.
And there's like a slight irony there as well, because when he came in to look after the kids basically for a summer was when the kids played us, and obviously that was why Moles got taken out by the Man United goalkeeper. And that's when Johnny Evans was brought in to basically oversee that tour, that leg of the tour of Man United, all the kids. So there will be.
You're saying it's his fault then?
I think that is what he's saying.
Yeah, I think so. The absolute fucking.
Did he say to Neil Bishop, sick him, go and get him?
Neil Bishop?
Is it Neil Bishop?
Nathan.
Nathan.
I was thinking of
sorry.
Harold off. I was waiting for the saxophone to come out from old. No, I'm not going to.
What I'd say about Evans is, what's the key position in your team if you play a back three? It's a centre. It's the centre of those back three. You've got willing runners either side, like Brunt and Max, and maybe if you could talk them through the game, you wouldn't have to move that far, really, would you? You would just spot danger and bring the rest of the team through, both on and off the pitch. And I think if you are looking for leaders and you need another one who's got that Premier League, international, championship experience, then I think Johnny Evans, out of Vardy, I would prefer Johnny Evans to come in. I'd be honest. Kiefer Moore I put in just because I want to sign Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, and Kiefer Moore fits Parky Ball very well. But no, Johnny Evans, I think if that could happen, I think that'd be a really shrewd, smart signing. But then I was speaking to somebody tonight in the pub before I came here who's a Man United fan, and his thing was like, yeah, but we really need him. As in, Man United need him because of how bad United are. But no, I think Johnny Evans would be spot on for us. I don't think it'll happen at all. It's that crazy round of paper talk we get every season. Just obviously we go up a year every year, and now we're being linked with a Johnny Evans, Jamie Vardy, which
a couple of others to mention. Ryan Hardy from Plymouth. That's one that seems to keep cropping up. Fits the Parky mould. I would say the sort of the number 9.
You know what, on that, I'd say if we stayed in League One, that's a good signing. I just don't think.
He's a good player.
Sorry,
he's a good player.
I know. I just think we're eating at a different table now. I think if you're going to bring a striker in, it has to be someone that absolutely 100% nails the position, and everyone goes wow. And I think Hardy's decent, yes, but I don't know if they might go even a little bit bigger.
Patrick Bamford, that's another one that's been reared its head again. Paddy Bamford,
big wage is that.
Yeah, plus the injury record's not been great in recent years, has it? So
what is he? Is he
rather Tommy Bamford, to be honest?
Nice, Tim. Nice.
He's a big lad, Bamford, but I don't think he's a target man. I think he's more the other sort of split striker, really, isn't he? So
his career has mainly been like that target man who also scores goals, but as Liam said, he's just the injury. He's like, no chance. Yeah, clearly there's a decent player there who's played at a very high level. Played for England, I believe. But just no, not worth taking the punt on.
Any other names?
So the players are leaving the sinking ship that is Cardiff City. Very sad about their relegation, and vultures are circling. Apparently Callum Robinson is a possibility. Quite a decent goal scoring record, I think, for them. So
apparently he struggles to stay fit, but a couple of my Cardiff mates say if you can keep him fit, he will score goals 100%.
I think Tim, you'll be better versed on this, but somebody mentioned to me literally yesterday about how the fact that obviously we have no international breaks now, and Cardiff have been relegated to League One, where they don't get international breaks. Is that a chance of more international games coming up this way?
What about Colwell?
Or that, Andy?
Oh, that. I mean, it'd be great to have internationals. We all want to see it. But international players who want to keep in the shop window, that is a massive, massive bonus for us, especially the profile being Welsh. So many tick boxes. So, yeah. I mean, you mentioned Colwell.
I'd love him. I think he's decent.
I think you can. There's definitely a player there, and the way he's filled out, he's massive for his age, massive, proper beast. But for me, I don't think he's quite got the mentality required to fit into that dressing room the way everybody has, which is key. It's key to the success. It'd be one of those where somebody might have to take him under their wing and go, you've got bags of ability, but you need to kind of apply the consistency and the attitude. No, I don't think he's quite had that. He was their great hope, really, and it's not really worked out for them. So there we are. Whilst we're in the throes of player stuff, I too have a snout of sorts who's just. Well, this is the reason I've just been going off a minute, just to read the text that I've been coming through. And this involves a new prospective investor who has supposedly bought a fair bit of the club. or whatever that may be. I'm not sure where we're at in terms of shareholdings. One, Matthew McConaughey.
Fuck off.
Oh, behave. He's a big soccer fan, isn't he?
That's what I've been told, right? And I've also been told that separate, I'm assuming separate from the McConaughey rumour, is the club are looking to acquire The Rock, which would not surprise me because...
Hang on, are we talking about the wrestler, or are we talking
Not
about...
the
smell.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson's coming in.
Smell
Yes,
what Des is cooking.
Yeah,
No,
the
we're
people's
talking
champion.
about Kevin Druid's The Rock, where
nice,
the ladies have been obviously... so I would not be at all surprised to see that as an acquisition, considering what we're looking at doing in terms of training ground and footprint and having it all under one roof.
Is there enough space there?
Could just buy
yes.
Kevin Maurer, couldn't we? Itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is probably scope to develop. But again, this is rumour. So A, Matthew McConaughey as an investor, and B, The Rock.
So Matthew McConaughey is a minority owner of Austin FC.
Okay.
That's all right. That's allowed in it.
I mean,
No, that's fine.
I've just got a text now, lads. Reece Evans, I believe, is gonna put a few quid in.
Yeah.
What about Fred Tomlinson and Steve Morgan? Are they
mock.
finally gonna put some money in? That was
Yeah.
always the back in the day.
Hey, it's
Oh,
probably a long shot, but let's
McAlpine.
go with it.
Oh yeah,
go with it.
McAlpine.
Yeah.
If it should transpire, then at least we were first with the news.
All right. Okay.
What can everyone do their best Matthew McConaughey impression?
What film's that from?
I mean, yeah. I mean, is he going to bring? Is he going to bring chips for a quid? That's what I'm asking. That's the big question.
Andy, can you do a Matthew McConaughey impression?
No, not really. I don't think.
Can you do your Dick Van Dyke impression for us?
I wonder where that was going then. I'm glad you added Van Dyke on the end of that.
He's already mentioned.
I'm not windmilling that one, mate. Come on. Right. Okay. That's weird. That's a segue. I didn't think we were going to go. Yeah. Right. We've mentioned The Rock. We've mentioned Wrexham women. Their season's done now. Andrew, is it a success overall?
Absolutely. I mean, when you compare to how things were the first half of the season, the turnaround there has been phenomenal. I think it's gone under the radar a little bit, to be fair, because of the first half of the season was I mean, let's say what it was. It was dreadful. And then the second half of the season was to go so undefeated for so long. I think, like I said, it was one cup game loss for like 3 or 4 months for the women. Just though they've had what's turned out to be a phenomenal season based on the back end of it. Just because, I think that's something that should be celebrated as well as part of the men's team.
Were they on the stage today at all?
No. There was. I did see
a separate one.
Yeah,
separate one, didn't they?
Yeah, they're separate celebrations. There was a few of them about. Like I saw Lily. Lily was about afterwards in the turf, loving life. And Mia Robbo was there, just to.
Didn't Lily's brother play today as well?
Yeah, Osh, who was phenomenal.
Good.
Although he did, I saw him afterwards, just speaking to him, and he had 2 pairs of sunglasses on. I was like, what's going on, mate? But no, he was having a whale of a time, and rightly so, because he's playing a race course, man. It's lovely to see that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, it's again to go back circle. Sorry, to circle back to Mia. It was nice to see Mia on the pitch with when all the players, and they had there was like the chairs around and stuff, and all the dignitaries, I guess we'd say, and the players and the families. It was nice to see Mia on there as well as Mozza on there, Mickey Thomas on there, and there was just a nice bit where the Royston Club were playing, and a lot of the players and the families had gone off to get beers or just to have some time themselves, and Robbo Jr. was just stood there loving the Royston Club.
Did she still have her shades on?
She didn't. She did not at that point in time, and she did not.
You looked like a rock star when I first saw her. Having her shades.
Yeah, that was a really nice big hug coming out the turf, and the first person I saw was Robbo Jr. and she came over and gave it a big hug. So yeah, no, just it's it's a good old time to be a Wrexham fan, isn't it? It's I keep
Let's drink more whiskey.
Yeah, we need to keep these pods commutable length.
Commutable.
Who can
Otherwise we'll face the wrath. We'll face the wrath of Mike Hughes.
Yeah.
Also, Liam needs to dig out the comment from Rob Ryan Red. We had a lovely comment on there. So dig out what
They
that
called
was.
us
About
narcs.
Narcs.
I mean,
But
yeah.
it was inaccurate though, because they said we were 4 narcs. I would like to correct you. We are 5 narcs.
Yeah.
Or 3 on this occasion.
Yeah.
So,
Not narcs in what sense? I missed that one.
Let's
go and
have a
dig it out,
look.
Liam. Go and dig it out. Let's
Think
fill the
I've-
time while
yeah.
Liam digs it out.
Well,
it
needless
was great.
to say, I've got Rob Ryan Red on my favourites, so
Why don't you go marry them then?
Yeah.
love you, Nathan. Right, where
I saw
is-
Nathan Rich yesterday and give him a big bear hug. I was like,
I went for a pint with them. Do you know what? When I was going to see the Magna Carta, guess who was walking in a couple of steps ahead of me? Those two we went round a prison. as well.
they were, I think they come as CIA agents. They were very sort of dressed, dark clothes.
Did they
looking
invoke
quite
the Magna
suspicious.
Carta? Did they try and invoke the Magna Carta at all?
Yeah, no. I tell you what, I was. Tomi Caws got me to the top of the hill, and I said I was going to see the Magna Carta. Stevie's eyes just sort of absolutely lit up as a way to rip the piss out of me. And fair play, I fed right into his hand by thinking that Magna Carta was the Doomsday Book. So
I found the comment.
Yeah, go on.
Right, go on.
Okay, so there's no profile picture, and they've got numbers in their name, so it fits
Fantastic.
the profile.
Lovely.
11 Matt 11.
Can we call this YouTube if you want to, so Reese can think that his ill-fated idea actually has legs?
YouTube if you want to.
Yeah.
Right, so 11 Matt 11 says, please publish this earlier after a big game. I was forced to watch the 4 Guys Who Look Like Narcs podcast, and it somehow made me depressed, even though we won with our best game of the season. I shouldn't say somehow. Fearless in Devotion always make me feel dour and overcast, just like they are. I know you like the guys at FID, but you have no idea how important you are to the thinking man's Wrexham fan. Please ASAP after a big game, and thanks for keeping us Wrexham fans so sane this season.
Thinking man's. Oh, we're not.
Dour and overcast.
I mean, if there is something we're not, it's the Thinking Man's podcast. I'll give them.
Absolutely not.
No.
Christ almighty,
I'm with Tim. I'm with Tim. The dour and overcast. Fantastic. With mild showers coming in tomorrow afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they talking about my webcam quality when they said dour and overcast?
Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone does look like a narc here, it's the guy wearing double denim and trying to be down with the kids.
Hey, I will not have a word against the birthday boy.
Birthday boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's end on this. What the hell are we going to do until August? Tim, what are your plans? What are you going to do? What are you going to do at the weekends?
Just live. I want to get. I'm one of these rare fools. No, yeah, definitely dour and overcast. I'm gonna go on a dour and overcast day. I'm gonna get my paddleboard out and go on that for a bit. I'm one of these rare fools that kind of enjoys the break from the footy. I think I was saying that to Andrew earlier on, that it's relentless in nature. The season, as great as it is and enjoyable as it is, it's nice to have a reset, a mental reset, and it's difficult because obviously we'll be trying to keep tabs on player movements, ins and outs, trying to keep the pod ticking over. Obviously, we've got Sean Harvey interview and a few of the bits that we're going to be putting up soon.
Yeah.
And trying to keep things ticking over with maybe the odd emergency pod now and again, because obviously we know that that's what you guys like, the immediacy of stuff.
Not the thing to win narcs.
No, yeah, for the Unthinking Man's podcast, which we clearly are. If you've got one brain cell less, then we're right up your street. Then I'm just going to, enjoy my football free weekends, but then ask me in a month's time when I'm fed up. I'm like, I wish I was going to Australia, or I wish we announced the pre-season against, I don't know, Lex, or something like that, Lex 11. So yeah, I'm just going to strangely enjoy the reset and see what the summer holds for our beloved club, and I can't wait for the fixture list to be announced. That is one thing I'm looking forward to. Because that is the one. That's what makes it real.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and ride on Thomas the Tank Engine because my lad is train mad. So that is one of my plans over the course of this period.
He's not coming though. It's just you doing it.
Mate, he's the number one engine, and he's very reliable. So yeah, top lad, Thomas.
Andrew?
I'll be honest, I'll be absolutely fucking lost. My summer is planned on, I don't know what. I'll just be looking forward to
Gigs.
What I'm-
That's what
yeah.
I'm doing. Get lots of gigs. Same here. Same
Well,
here,
the
gigs.
main priority, to be fair, is next week is Focus Wales. I mean, today's my birthday, which leads into this week, which is Focus Wales. So I always have a little bit of time off from work for like 2 weeks or so. So yeah, get Focus Wales out the way, and then I will mourn the football season.
You
But,
still doing Wales Comic Con, which is randomly in England,
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
doesn't it?
So-
You should
no,
never have
Andy-
bloody moved it.
Speaking about down with the kids.
yeah, it's like
I heard it was dour and overcast. That's why they moved it.
I don't run the thing. I just turn up and hold a microphone and speak to people. That's all. And that's not been a thing for a while.
Don't come
so,
to
yeah.
me for refunds.
Exactly, which I believe there might be some. So
Oh
yeah.
God!
No.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Really,
So,
yeah.
so
What are
to
you
bring
going to
it
be
back-
doing? What are you going to be doing with your time off? You narc.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the last couple of weeks, because when you get to the end of a season, you want to go to every game, but they fit a formula. I have to get up pretty early to get there, whether it be home or away. Once I do get up there, I probably have a few beers, and a few beers turns into a lot of beers, and I'm fed up of bloody drinking. I'm just looking how fat I am. I'm thinking, right, well, the key thing I want to do over summer is lose a few pounds, get a bit more in shape, and then attack the season again. I tell you what, next season's going to be bloody expensive, so I also need to save my money, because in the Premier League there's a cap on how much away tickets are, but there's nothing like that in the Championship. And if you think the likes of Leyton Orient were rinsing us in League One, wait until you go to Middlesbrough, to QPR, all these places. So yeah, we need to save up. I need to get a Saturday job. Do WH Smiths still take like?
They even
I'm not-
going?
I'm not having that Daily Star money is
Paper gold.
yeah, exactly.
Is
Mind
Ed
you, if
Sheeran
we-
going to shaft us?
Sorry,
Is Ed Sheeran going to shaft us?
I don't know. I've never been there. I'd like to go there, but yeah,
we do a
if he
second-
can, he would.
If we do a second live night, that'll pay for various things. So yeah, answer on a postcard. Also, whilst we're beyond commutable length pod at this point, should we just quickly broach on season tickets, because I imagine they would be announced fairly soon. I expect
What
in
are
the
you
next
thinking?
couple of weeks.
I'm
Well,
guessing. I'm guessing 450 is my guess.
So what are you paying now, Andrew?
I think it's. 'Cause I'm in Mold Roads, and I think it's like 380, something like that.
Right.
I think I'm 375 in
Yeah,
in the lager. I think I've been told 15%, so that would put it in around about 437.
Something.
Yeah, 460, something like that.
Fearless in Devotion does countdown.
Either way, if it does go up, nobody's going to be surprised. If it
in
does
the
go up,
Championship, yeah.
yeah. Well, that and the fact that there's going to be less people in the ground, because obviously doing away with the temporary cop, they got to fit that somewhere as well. And I think if they do it, and it's fairly significant, given the fact it's been frozen for like 2 or 3 years in a row now, hopefully they may consider introducing a kind of payment plan. Kind of you can climb everything these days. There are other providers out there, no doubt, but that need to be an option for people who maybe haven't got as much disposable income as others. So it's something that should be
I think that's a
considered.
good idea. An interest-free pay monthly would be great, because what you don't want is people thinking, right, it's summer, I've got summer holidays, I now have to do the outlay for the season ticket. It's gone up a little bit more than I thought. What am I going to do? You don't want people losing their season ticket that way. But if they can say, look, I can pay half now and half through the season or something like that, I think that would be a lovely gesture for people. So please, if you are listening, Mr. Williamson, that would be a fantastic thing to do. Right, I think that's it. Thanks very much. I'm glad you enjoyed your celebration. I really enjoyed Lincoln, and I'm also really going to enjoy not having a football match to go to next Saturday. Although I am trying to get tickets to the FA Cup final. So
why? What for?
I just like to go to Wembley every now and again.
He likes football and he likes drinking, so there's no chance
I
he's going
also
to be
like
stopping anytime soon.
freebies. So
He does like freebies.
So it's not a paid for ticket.
Oh no, I'm not
you're after a
paying
freebie to Wembley.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, dirty scumbag. We'll get it. Okay.
You narc.
Yeah, Mr. Red Top over here. Okay.
All right. On that bombshell, let's end this before we absolutely
before we go into civil war.
Let's thank everybody as well. Everybody who's who's helped make this a joy to help document in one respect or another this season. You know,
Subscribe. Please subscribe. We need
yeah,
more
like,
subscribers.
Go and see the
subscribe,
Magna Carta. Go and see the Magna Carta.
Yeah, the Doomsday Book, and yeah, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Buy us a coffee, wherever the thing is,
You don't have to do
and
all of it.
and like, just keep tabs on it, because we're not going away just because the season's ended. We're always got find plenty of things to discuss, and plenty of things to wax lyrical about, no doubt. So yeah,
Plenty of drug raids to go on as well.
plenty of drug raids, it would seem, at Mr. Gilpin's latest address.
Ooh, okay, well, I've got some toilet flushing to do. All right. Thanks very much. We'll see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.
See you later.
Yeah,
Back it
bye.
up.